So. So.
Pakistan.
But I believe that after discussion with President Erdogan, we would be able to work together to find out one way or another how to deal with this problem. There was once a great Muslim civilization.
Look,
Sene 1947.
this is 1947.
Neredeyse burada İsrail yok
There's
gibi.
seemingly almost no Israeli presence
Tamamı
on these lands.
Filistin.
The entire territory belongs to the
Sene
Palestinians. So the map suggests.
1947
But
paylaşım
the year
planı var.
1947,
Ve
the
Filistin
distribution
küçülüyor.
plan takes place,
İsrail
gets
büyüyor.
ratified, Palestinian
Geliyorum
lands start shrinking, and
1967'ye,
Israel starts expanding.
1949'la
And
birlikte. Buyurun,
from
İsrail
1947 to
büyüyor,
1967,
Filistin küçülüyor.
1967, Israel is
Ve
still
geliyorum
expanding, Palestine is
bugüne,
still shrinking.
güncel
And
durum
today,
şu,
the current
artık
situation,
adeta Filistin
there
yok,
is seemingly no Palestinian
neredeyse
presence.
tamamına
The
yakını
entire land
İsrail.
belongs to
İsrail
Israel.
doyuyor mu?
But
Hayır, doymuyor.
would it suffice Israel?
İsrail şimdi
No.
de kalanını almanın
Israel
gayreti
is
içerisinde.
still willing to take over the remaining
Peki
of the
Birleşmiş
land.
Milletler
But
Güvenlik Konseyi'nin
what about the
Birleşmiş
United
Milletler'in
Nations Security Council?
İsrail'le
What
almış
about the
olduğu
United
bunca
Nations?
kararlar var.
And what about
Bu
the
kararlar
resolutions
uygulamaya
therein?
geçiyor mu?
Are those
Hayır,
resolutions
geçmiyor.
being activated?
Peki
Are they
o
being
zaman Birleşmiş
implemented and
Milletler ne
enforced?
işe yarıyor?
No. So we have to ask
O
ourselves,
zaman
what
bu
does the
çatının
UN
altında
serve?
bizler aldığımız
Under
kararlarla
this roof,
tesirli
we are
olamıyorsak
producing
adalet
resolutions without any
nerede
effect.
temerküz edecek?
So when do you think,
İşte
or where do you think
sıkıntımız
justice can
burada.
prevail? This is our main suffering.
Mevcut İsrail
This is where
yönetimi
the pain is
bu
coming
cinayetlerinin
from. The
yanında
current
Gazze'deki
Israeli
insanlık
government
dışı abluka,
and the administration
yasa dışı yerleşim
right next to
faaliyetleri,
these murders and
Kudüs'ün
atrocities
tarihi ve
is busy
hukuki
with
statüsüne yönelik
intervening
saldırıları gibi
and attacking
eylemleriyle
the
uluslararası
historical, legal
hukukun
status
ötesinde
of
insanlığın
Jerusalem
tüm değerlerini ayaklar altına
holy,
alıyor.
sacred
Türkiye olarak bizim
lands
bu konudaki tavrımız nettir. Çözüm
and artifacts. As Turkey, we have a very
1967
clear
sınırları
stance on this
temelinde
issue. The
başkenti
immediate
Doğu
establishment
Kudüs
of an
olan
independent Palestinian
bağımsız
state
ve
with homogeneous
mütecaniz
territories on the
topraklara
basis
sahip
of the
bir
1967
Filistin devletinin
borders
bir an
with East
önce
Jerusalem as its
kurulmasıdır.
capital is the only solution.
Bunun dışındaki
Any
herhangi
other
bir
peace
barış
plan
planının
other than
adil
this
olma,
will never have a
kabul
chance of
edilme
being fair,
ve uygulanma
just,
şansı yoktur.
and it will never be
Birleşmiş
implemented.
Milletler Kürsüsü'nden
Now,
soruyorum.
I'm asking from the
İsrail
rostrum of the
devletinin
United Nations
sınırları
General Assembly, where are the
neresidir?
borders of the state of Israel? Is
1948
it the
sınırları mıdır?
1947 borders?
1967 sınırları mıdır?
1967 borders?
Yoksa daha başka bir
Or
sınırı
is
mı
there
var?
another border that we need to know of?
Tıpkı işgal edilen diğer Filistin toprakları gibi Golan Tepeleri
How can the
ve
Golan
Batı
Heights
Şeria'daki
and the West Bank
yerleşim
settlements be
yerleri
seized,
bu devletin
just like
sınırları
other
içinde
occupied
değilse
Palestinian territories
nasıl oluyor
before
da
the eyes of the
dünyanın
world,
gözü
if they
önünde
still are
gasp
not
edilebiliyor?
within the official borders
Yüzyılın
of
anlaşması
this state?
olarak takdim edilen girişimin amacı
Is the aim of the
Filistin
initiative
devletinin
promoted
ve
as
halkının
the deal of the
mevcudiyetini
century
tamamen
to
ortadan
entirely eliminate
kaldırmak
the
mı?
presidents of the state and the
Bunlar
people of
dünyayı
Palestine?
kana mı bulamak
Do you
istiyorlar?
want another bloodshed?
Birleşmiş Milletler başta olmak üzere
All actors of the
uluslararası
international
camianın
community,
tüm
in particular
aktörleri
the UN,
Filistin halkına
should provide complete
vaatlerin
support to
ötesinde
the Palestinian
somut
people
destek vermeli.
beyond more promises.
Birleşmiş Milletler
In this
yakın
regard,
doğudaki
it's
Filistinli
very
mülteciler
important for the
için
United Nations
yardım ve
Relief
bayındırlık
and Works
ajansının
Agency
çalışmalarının
for
etkin
Palestinian
şekilde
refugees in the Near
sürdürülmesi
East to
bu
continue
bakımdan
its
çok önemli.
activities effectively.
Türkiye bugüne kadar olduğu gibi
Turkey will
bundan
continue
sonra
to
da
stand by the
mazlum
oppressed people of
Filistin
Palestine
halkının
as
yanında yer
she
almaya
has always
devam edecek.
done.
The Assembly we'll hear an address by His Excellency Mahathir bin Mohamad, Prime Minister of Malaysia. May I request protocol to escort His Excellency.
Mr. President, the first act engineered by the Western countries is the creation of the State of Israel by seizing Palestinian land and expelling 90% Arab population. Since then, wars have been fought in many countries, many related to the creation of the State of Israel. And now we have terrorism when there was none before, or at least none on the present scale. Military actions against acts of terrorism will not succeed. We need to identify the cause and remove it, but the great powers refuse to deal with the root cause. They prefer military action and sanctions, and they will continue to fail to stop terrorism. Malaysia accepts the State of Israel as a fait accompli, but it cannot accept the blatant seizure of Palestinian land by Israel for their settlements as well as the occupation of Jerusalem by Israel. The Palestinians cannot even enter the settlements built on their land. Because of the creation of Israel, there is now enmity towards the Muslims and Islam. Muslims are accused of terrorism, even if they did nothing. Muslim countries have been destabilized through the campaign for democracy and regime change. Muslims everywhere have been oppressed, expelled from their countries, and refused asylum. Thousands have died at sea and in the severe winters of Europe. We must punish warmongers. We must make the world peaceful for all. That was our mission, and that must remain our mission. Only if we succeed can we claim that we are civilized. I thank you, Mr. President.
La Asamblea escuchará.
The Assembly will hear an address by the Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, His Excellency Imran Khan.
My third point is Islamophobia. There are 1.3 billion Muslims in this world. There are millions of Muslims living in other countries, European countries, and the US as minorities. Islamophobia since 9/11 has grown at a pace where it is alarming. Human communities live together. There should be understanding amongst them. But Islamophobia is creating a division. Muslim women wearing hijab, it's become an issue. It's become an issue in some countries. Hijab is some sort of a weapon. A woman can take off her clothes in countries, but she can't put on more clothes. How is this happening? Because of Islamophobia. And how did this Islamophobia start? After 9/11. And why did it start? Because certain Western leaders equated terrorism with Islam. Islamic terrorism. Radical Islam. What is radical Islam? There is only one Islam, and that is the Islam we follow of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is no other Islam. Radical Islam, Islamic terrorism, what message did they send to people in the West? And why is there Islamophobia? How is a person in New York, in the Midwest in the US, in European capital, how is he going to distinguish between who is a moderate Muslim and who's a radical Muslim? Because terrorism has nothing to do with any religion. This Islamic terrorism, Islamic radicalism, and sadly used by leaders, this has been the main reason for this Islamophobia. And it has caused pain amongst Muslims. We in Muslim countries watch this Islamophobia traveling abroad, and it's getting worse. And may I just say, Mr. President, that in European countries, it is marginalizing Muslim communities. And we all know that marginalization leads to radicalization. Some of the people who ended up as militants in Syria and other places were from marginalized Muslim communities. And my point here is that we must address this issue. I'm sad to say that we Muslim leaders have not addressed this issue either. After 9/11, when this thing came about war against radical Islam, rather than Muslim leaders trying to explain to the West that there is no such thing as radical Islam, in all human communities, they are radicals. They're liberals and rest are moderate. All human communities, Christians, Jews, everyone has it. But Islam is not radical, neither Judaism, neither Christianity, neither Hinduism. No religion preaches radicalism. The basis of all religion is compassion and justice, which differentiates us from the animal kingdom. But unfortunately, the Muslim leadership was so scared of being called radical Islam that all of them became moderates. In Pakistan, we were in the eye of the storm, and our government coined a phrase called enlightened moderation. No one knows what it meant, but everyone started putting on Western suits that they were moderates, started speaking. Even those who didn't know English would speak English because they were moderates. No one had a clue what it was, because we, in the Muslim world, did not explain to the West that there is no such thing as radical Islam. One of the reasons why, after 9/11, Islam was supposed to be equated with terrorism was suicide attacks. Because the 9/11 bombers did a suicide attack, all sorts of theories came up that the Muslims are involved in suicide attacks because they will get virgin in heavens. Some came up with, what about women, suicide attackers? So this bizarre thing happened. No one explained. Suicide attacks and Islam were equated. No one did research that before 9/11, the majority of suicide attacks in the world were by Tamil tigers, who were Hindus. No one blamed Hinduism, and quite rightly. What has Hinduism got to do with what desperate people were doing in Sri Lanka? We all know we've seen films about Japanese kamikaze pilots at the end of the Second World War doing suicide attacks. No one blamed the religion. But here we were trying to prove we were moderates and not explaining to the West. Determination. Thank you.
En nombre de la Asamblea General agradezco.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I would like to thank His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and I ask protocol to escort His Excellency.
Bagaimana pendapatmu? Silakan berikan tanggapan di kolom komentar di sebelah bawah. Tetap nantikan video selanjutnya. Aktifkan notifikasi dengan menekan ikon subscribe, ikon lonceng, dan ikon jempol. Terima kasih sudah menonton sampai akhir video ini. Semoga topik ini bermanfaat. Kami doakan semoga Anda sehat selalu. Oke, sampai jumpa lagi di video selanjutnya.